I don't think I have to tell any of you. There's a sign right behind me that sort of gives away my affinity for Indiana. I spent some great years of my life in Indiana going to IU. I know the state of Indiana. I know the people in Indiana. There's an awful lot about them that is just dripping with Midwestern lovely hospitality. There is an awful lot of Indiana that drips with an element of inbred, racist, just awful rednecks. You get both. You get both in Indiana. What I can tell you conclusively, I mean, beyond the shadow of a doubt, is that when it comes to being racist in Indiana, white people are not subjected to it. And that brings me to Jim Irsay. Jim Irsay, like, I wish we could just snap our fingers and Jim would have to live a year like the rest of us to get him out of his insulated douchebag billionaire bubble. A story on ESPN.com today says that Colts owner Jim Irsay was talking about his 2014 arrest for operating a vehicle while intoxicated, and it was a result of police prejudice against him. Prejudice against Jim Irsay? What group does he belong to that the Indiana State Troopers are being prejudiced against? And he said that he is being persecuted for being a rich, white billionaire. I mean, come on. Come on. In Indiana, first of all, you know how many billionaires there are in the state of California? There's almost 200 billionaires in the state of California. You want to know how many billionaires there are in the state of Indiana? Three. I don't know who the last one is, but the first one is Jim Irsay. The second one is definitely the descendants of the Eli family, Eli Lilly, the pharmaceutical company. There's a Lilly library on the campus of Indiana. That's old school Indiana billionaire money. And I don't know who the third is, and I really don't care. But I don't see either of the other two white billionaires in Indiana living that, 4 years a slave lifestyle that Jim Irsay, was it 7 years? What was the name of that movie? It was a really good movie. Anyways, Jim Irsay was talking to HBO Real Sports. The longtime Colts owner had to plead guilty in September of 2014 to a misdemeanor count of operating a vehicle while intoxicated. When asked why he pled guilty, Irsay responded, "Just to get it over with." Quote, "I'm prejudiced because I'm a rich white billionaire," Irsay said during the interview, which aired Tuesday night on HBO. "If I'm just the average guy down on the block, they're not pulling me in. Of course not." Dude, you fell asleep behind the wheel of your car in the middle of the street. I'm pretty sure anyone would get in a little bit of trouble doing that. And most of all, imagine what would happen if the dude sleeping slumped over his wheel had been black. Not a billionaire. There is a group of B's that is prejudiced against. It's probably blacks more than billionaires, Jim. And then here is this has to go on Jim Irsay's tombstone. This quote. Irsay was asked how he thought his assertion would be received, that he is being prejudiced against as a white billionaire in the state of Indiana. He says, quote, "I don't care what it sounds like. It's the truth. I could give a darn what people think about how anything sounds or sounds like. The truth is the truth, and I know the truth." So Jim Irsay is actually kind of like a cool dude. Like he likes music. He collects an unbelievable amount of music memorabilia, and he's got like the original manuscript of On the Road by Jack Kerouac. There's a lot of things that I kind of like about Jim Irsay, but I think that those days are over because this douchebag so lives in his own bubble. And there you go. It's the truth. I could give a damn what people think about anything or what it sounds like. The truth is the truth, and I know the truth. Again, you know the billionaire's truth. You know your truth. You don't look at anything from any other perspective than your beat down upon prejudiced billionaire life that you have to just slug your way through. It's so tough. This is like John Fisher telling those 3 fans at the owners' meetings, like, oh, it's been harder on me than it's been on you guys. These billionaires, what a group of assholes. Every single time they open their mouth, they get worse. They seriously do. Eat the rich. Seriously. These freaking jagoffs. Police in the Indianapolis suburb of Carmel, which, by the way, is beautiful. Carmel is a very nice part of Indiana. It's where the money is. They pulled Irsay over in March of 2014 after he was spotted driving slowly, stopping in the roadway, and failing to use a turn signal. Not because they were hunting white billionaires that night. Can you just see like a group of police getting together, like, you know, they're about to start their evening shift. So they're clocking in like 5 p.m. and they're having their, everybody stay safe out there meeting at the precinct. And they're like, all right, we got one goal tonight. That's to find Jim Irsay. It's time to get that guy. Because if there's one thing this mostly overwhelmingly white state with a mostly overwhelmingly white police force cannot stand, and that's the wealthy, upwardly mobile white guys. I just in Indiana, white guys are doing just fine in Indiana. There's no other group of whites being persecuted in the state of Indiana. White billionaires only, apparently. The guy failed a field sobriety test. Well, why were you on the pills? Jim Irsay says, because I just had hip surgery, so I'm on all these pills. Well, if you're on all those pills and you're a billionaire, you probably shouldn't be driving yourself, you dickhead. Police discovered various prescription drugs in Irsay's vehicle, along with $29,000 in cash. $29,000, just happened to have it on him. Who doesn't roll? What white guy in Indiana isn't rolling with a briefcase full of prescription pills and $29,000 in cash? It's unbelievable to me. It's like saying that the city of San Francisco goes out of its way to persecute gay people. Like, you couldn't have it more wrong. There is no city in America that is more welcoming to the gay community than San Francisco. There is no state in America that is more right this way, white person, than the state of Indiana. And I'm not saying Indiana is overwhelmingly, awfully prejudiced against black people. What I am saying is that if you are white in the state of Indiana, you have less to worry about than probably at least 45 other states. I've never heard anyone make the argument white guys got it tough in Indiana. I mean, that's just, especially the white billionaire. Oh, I feel bad for Jim Irsay. Seriously, Jim Irsay, I wish for just a minute we could snap our fingers. Just snap our fingers and have Jim Irsay live in the bottom half of a 2-family duplex condo for a year. And then you tell me if you billionaires got it worse than someone who has to go frickin' to Rayleigh's for the 3rd night in a row to get a cheap cheeseburger because your paycheck is at the end of its cycle. Rallies? No, it's Rallies or Checkers. I forget. Anyway, that's rich. That's borderline performance art. It's serious. We need to do like a country song. It's tough being a white billionaire in the state of Indiana for Jim Irsay.